What's up, Hoop fans? This is Gary with Hobby Lottery, and today we've got an episode of Let's Talk Cards. You can be entered into a drawing to win rookie cards of today's player of discussion by simply liking the video and leaving a comment below. Also, any cards not chosen as part of the giveaway will be randomly included into my available repack products for sale, linked down low in the description for my eBay store. Let's get into it. Today's player of discussion, RJ Barrett, aka the Maple Mamba, aka Ducky. Who is he? He's a 6'6" hit shooting guard drafted as the number 3 pick of the 2019-20 draft by the New York Knicks. Prior to that, he would spend 1 year at Duke, averaging 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and almost 1 steal a game. Numbers I find absolutely incredible, considering he played alongside 2 lottery picks in Cam Reddish, and of course the hype of our hobby, Mr. Zion Williamson. Chapter 2 of his career begins with the New York Knicks, where he would average 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Though the numbers are sexy on paper, the efficiency simply isn't there. RJ shooting an abysmal 40% from the field, 32% from 3, and a horrific 61% from the free throw line. And if your face is wrinkled at that, prepare to facepalm at 2 turnovers per game on top of that. However, I don't blame RJ for the lack of efficiency. I blame the Knicks for signing 4 power forwards who can't provide spacing on the floor. But not only that, there's hardly another shooter on the team to be found. Alonzo Trier and Kevin Knox are the closest thing to knockdown shooters, and they basically gave them DNPs for the entire season for whatever reason. I actually applaud RJ for being a 19-year-old rookie and working with the hand he was dealt. He was basically given a hand with no space, but still he took the lead without a partner on board. Now that we've talked about what his numbers are on paper, let's talk about what he's like on the court. And though RJ Barrett is still young, he's got a lot of offensive moves in his bag right now. For example, the Giannis spin move. I've seen on many occasions where he grabs the rebound, leads the break himself, hits him with the spin move, finishes strong around the rim. Although he's not as athletic or as strong as Giannis is, can't deny that the man is still good at finishing around the rim and being only 6'6" tall. On top of that, even though he's not as strong as Giannis, it may still prove to his benefit because he won't get called for offensive fouls as much. He's more of a finesse finisher around the rim, although I have seen him cut back door and finish with the lobs. Brings me to another point. He's got a little bit of an old man's game to him. Not like today's 2 guard who actually runs to the 3-point line to knock down a 3-pointer. RJ is good with backdoor cuts. He likes to finish with some layups, and also he likes to finish above the rim on occasion as well. Reminds me a little bit of Dwayne Wade, though I'm not ready to go and put him on that superstar level as a top 2, top 3 shooting guard of all time. RJ Barrett's definitely got some potential, and I think he will be a superstar. Let's talk about some other things. So not only is RJ good on the break, he's good in the half-court setting as well. He's great with taking guys off the dribble, though the handle is a little loose. He does have still good enough ball control. Now, when he does drive on a defender, he's great with using the Euro step, very similar to how James Harden does, and he's also great at anticipating contact and finishing with his left or right hand, also very similar to James Harden. Also, I didn't even know that most of the draft day major sites that come up with comparisons when players are first entering the NBA, James Harden was actually a comparison for RJ Barrett. One thing to note too, he's great at getting to the foul line, also like James Harden. But also, this is a cool note as well. Now, for RJ Barrett, out of the 3 current NBA players that most of the major websites said that he would potentially be like when he hits his peak, all 3 of them are top guys at getting to the foul line in the NBA. And we'll get into those guys coming up soon. But I do like RJ Barrett. I think that he would get a lot more assists if they did surround him with more shooters, and he's working with what he's working with, man. He's got to make the most of it. I honestly think the kid wakes up going into Madison Square Garden every day thinking I could do more if I had more. Think about this. Prior to the bubble, Russell Westbrook was looking like a borderline all-star when he first was working with the Rockets early on in the season. What did they do? They got rid of Clint Capella. That opened up the lane a ton. Clint Capella he was practically the only guy in the Rockets lineup who could not shoot the ball, and he was clogging the lane for Westbrook. What happens when they get rid of Clint Capella and they get Robert Covington on the team? Russell Westbrook stops looking like a borderline all-star and starts looking like a Hall of Famer before they ended up in the bubble. Now, RJ Barrett, when you think about it like this, put it in perspective. He's playing with 4 other Clint Capellas on the court. What's he supposed to do with that? He can't get to the rim. If he kicks it to him, they don't make open jumpers. He made the most of what he could do. So as long as the Knicks have poor spacing, I don't think we'll truly see RJ unlocked, but I do think we'll still see a good player. Even when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he still doesn't, even though he doesn't run out to the 3-point line to snipe like a Klay Thompson or somebody would, he still does those backdoor cuts, and he's great at finishing around the rim, and he can even get some dunks on people as well. He has a little bit of an old man's game in the post. He will back down smaller guards, hit him over the shoulder with a hook, do some up and under type moves. I wouldn't dare say it's dreamlike or Hakeem Olajuwon status, but it's still better post game than a lot of the bigs we have in today's game and just a lot of players in general. He doesn't do the one-legged fadeaway. It's straight baby hook. Those type of finishes around the rim. Now he does have to work on the three-point percentage. At least he's not afraid to take the jumper like Ben Simmons, so you still have to respect it. 31% is not great by any means, but he's still able to make those shots on occasion. There's been a couple games where he has hit multiple threes, and at the end of the day, you got to respect it. You saw what Lou Dort did in the playoffs, so as long as they're willing to take the shot, that's the main thing. And now that we've covered a lot of what he does in the half-court setting, I want to go back to what he does on the break, because like I stated, he is a great passer. I think he could definitely get more assists. They would run him with Mitchell Robinson more. Maybe he could get some more lobs, give Mitchell Robinson some more finishes at the rim, have a similar setup to how Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert work. But when he is running the break, he is great at hitting people in stride with the bounce pass, dime dropper. I think he is an underrated passer despite because his assist numbers don't necessarily jump off the page at you. Probably learned some of that from Steve Nash, which I'm sure most of y'all know. If not, fun fact, Steve Nash is his godfather. Worked with him one-on-one quite a bit in Canada. Probably helped him develop some of those playmaking skills. But we've kind of summarized what he is on paper, what he's like on the court. Let's talk about what he could be, and let's talk cards. Alright, now I always like to say you always want to collect who you like, but it is a plus when who you like happens to be good and happens to be worth money if you have their memorabilia. Now, what I want to get into is some of the top draft day comparisons that the main platforms, some of the players they called out who they thought RJ Barrett could be when he hits his ceiling. So the first one is NBA.com. They said Lamar Odom, James Harden, Jalen Rose, DeMar DeRozan, and that was it for them. Now, NBADraft.net, they had Chris Middleton and Danny Granger. Bleacher Report stated DeMar DeRozan, and CBS Sports stated a more engaged Andrew Wiggins. With shots fired at Andrew Wiggins, that's pretty just bad that they have to resort to saying a more engaged version of yourself. He's got to get plugged in. Hopefully Golden State can set him straight. So let's just talk about which one of these prime players who are still in the NBA, when he hits his prime, who could he most be like? We'll start off with James Harden. Arguably the most creative scorer we've ever seen in the history of basketball. Multiple seasons averaging 30 plus points, a couple times 36, I believe, a game as well. James Harden's footwork and craftiness finishing around the rim, RJ Barrett can resemble that, though he's an extremely poor free throw shooter. Even in his peak, I could see don't get me wrong, RJ may very well go from 60 to a 90% free throw shooter. I don't know too many players who have done that. I've seen some go from 60 to mid 70s, low 80s, but that's it. Harden, roughly around 90, even being a high volume free throw shooter. Also, Harden's step back three is untouchable. His ability to create shots off the dribble and drain them is unmatched. I don't ever see RJ Barrett hitting this level of production as James Harden, so we can rule him out now. Now, when it comes down to Chris Middleton, Mr. Efficiency, maybe RJ could be more like a Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's a good number two. I'm not sure if RJ can be a number one option on a championship team. He's still young. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on that, but could he be like Chris Middleton? Chris Middleton, I think he missed the 90-50-40 club this year because he fell off in the bubble, but he was very close to 90% from the foul line, 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line. He's good at creating his own shot off the dribble, although he tends to disappear a little bit in the playoffs at times, and sometimes that's it. I mean, he's pretty consistent in the regular season, but not so much in the playoffs. How does their games resemble? Middleton's good at getting to the rim. He's not super athletic. I think RJ's more athletic. I think RJ's more of a creative playmaker than Chris Middleton. I don't know if he'll ever have a three ball as good as his, but just their styles and how they play, I just don't. Chris Middleton's not really much of a break running player like how RJ Barrett is. So I'm not sure he could be quite like him. Chris Middleton's great from the three-point line. Now let's get into these two mid-range well, Andrew Wiggins, I wouldn't say dead-eye, but DeMar DeRozan is. Who is RJ more like out of these two? Now, I could definitely agree with the analysis, I believe it was, of CBS Sports stating a more engaged Andrew Wiggins. And funny enough, the note next to that I wrote is the reason he may not reach his ceiling is finding the right system and support from the franchise that drafts him. And literally RJ went to the wrong team for that. But Andrew Wiggins, now they did try some point Wiggins in Minnesota, ran him at point guard before they traded him off to Golden State. His assist numbers were kind of up, and he seemed like he was more involved in the game, but then he seemed to slip back into this mindset of, I don't know, I'm just going to post up, hit some mid-range fadeaways, and kind of do what I feel like and not really play defense. And I don't know. And one thing about Andrew Wiggins, I really don't notice him doing much off the ball, whereas I feel RJ at least cuts and he tries to slash and get to the rim. I feel like he has more heart than Andrew, but I'm not willing to rule him out yet. Now for DeMar DeRozan, Mr. Mid-Range Magic, when Popovich's system, his assists were actually going up. He was starting to be used as more of a playmaker, though he's never developed a three ball. RJ, I think, will develop a three ball. I truly do believe he'll work on that and he'll be able to hit open shots. This is so tough. One thing I was thinking about too, anybody remember Josh Smith, another lefty who was pretty athletic, a good all-around player, not really a master at any one area? I thought RJ Barrett could be that at his floor. And Josh Smith, I think, may have made one All-Star game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that was one of my picks who actually was not chosen for what these major platforms picked. But I am kind of torn between if he could. I feel like he runs the break a little better than both of these guys. Like, he can get the ball, run the break, hit you with a spin move, and finish at the basket. And he's good at finding guys in stride. Andrew Wiggins has never really been much of a playmaker like that. I'm almost willing to fold Wiggins down and then leave up DeMar DeRozan. But DeMar DeRozan is so good at just scoring and getting to the basket. I mean, he's had a lot of seasons averaging 27, 28 a game. He gets overlooked and overshadowed for falling short in the playoffs and criticized for that. But we can't deny that DeRozan is a great player. I don't know if RJ, man, that's tough, dude. I just can't see if he does make it to that level of getting 27 a game, but I can see RJ now with more opportunity definitely getting in the low 20s to mid 20s. I could see him getting 7-8 rebounds potentially, and I could definitely see him getting 5 to 6 assists once he's actually surrounded with more players. So he may be a little like DeMar just from their style of game and finishing around the basket and in the mid-range. That might be okay, but I just think he's more engaged in Andrew Wiggins, even though he's very similar to Andrew Wiggins. So I'll let you guys decide down low. Who do you think he could most be like, and how good do you think he could be? Now, with all this being said, let's talk about the card prices. Now, I think most collectors would agree, and investors, to determine a player's pulse market for their cards. You want to look at their base Prism rookie card as a PSA 10, their Silver Prism rookie card raw, and their Silver Prism rookie card as a PSA 10. So let's jump into that. The PSA 10 base Prism currently for RJ Barrett is at $200, roughly there. Some a little under that price, some a little more. His Silver Prism raw is in the range of 130 to 253, strongly dependent upon the centering of the card. Off center ones are on the lower end at 130, and his Silver Prism as a PSA 10 is currently up to 750. That's a lot, that's expensive. But that's just the way the card market is right now. If you're going to get any rookie that's halfway decent, those are the prices you're going to pay. Heck, you're going to pay close to $100 just for a Bol Silver Prism. And I don't even think he's hardly logged any NBA regular season minutes before he was in the bubble. I may be wrong on that, but if he did, it wasn't much. So that's just the game we're playing. But let's just say this is such a hard player evaluation for me, and I'm sorry I can't give you guys an answer. I would say he's slightly better than Wiggins. Slightly better than Wiggins in his prime. And I can see him getting career averages of 20, 24, maybe 7 boards, maybe like 5 assists. But let's just go into next year real quick. Think about this. Ja Morant averaged 18 points, might have been 19 points. No, it was 18.7 assists and 4 rebounds for Ja Morant in his rookie year, and he won Rookie of the Year. That announcement came on literally as I was filming this video. His Silver Prism Raw is 450 right now. RJ is at 250, and his Silver Prism as a PSA 10 is 2,300. That's crazy. Let's just say the Knicks do make some decent moves and surround him with some okay pieces, and they can get close to making the 8th seed, or they make it. Keep in mind, yeah, the West is tough, but Memphis in the end didn't make the playoffs. And now he's currently at averages of 14, 5, and 3. Let's just say next year he just gets a little bit better. He makes more free throws. He increases his 3-point percentage a little bit, and he can creep up to closer to. I find it really hard to believe he won't hit 18 points per game next season. Let's say he hits 18 points per game, and let's just say he sticks with like the 5 or 6 rebounds he's getting, but then he gets an extra 5 assists too, just from better teammates surrounding him. That production and numbers, and if the Knicks improve in the standings in the East next year, and then people start talking about him more, I don't see any reason why his cards would not go up. They may not hit Ja Morant level, but I mean, good gracious, if you can afford to buy some of his stuff raw and then get it graded, like if you bought a 750 now and he just improves and you hold on to it, I could definitely see him with just a slightly better sophomore season. I could see his Silver Prism creeping up to the 1,500 area raw, and probably close to 2,000 as a PSA 10. Or I'm sorry, I meant to say not 1,500, 1,200 raw, and then probably close to about 2,000 as a PSA 10. I could see that happening just from looking at Michael Porter Jr. and then the market's crazy. As soon as the guy starts doing okay, his cards just skyrocket. RJ could very well double. So I would say, I mean, if you're an investor, you could afford to buy, maybe look at lots of his base prism, or these Silver Prism draft picks may not be a bad pick at all. I mean, you can get these anywhere from 12 to 13 raw. You get it graded as a PSA 10. Currently, these are going for about 40, and he starts doing better. You can start selling those for closer to 90 next year. But I definitely believe he could still be seen as an investment despite how high his prices are at this moment. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think the keys to the car are his to run that team next season. And I can see RJ definitely being an all-star in his NBA future. But anyway, with that being said here, let's go into the giveaway for Mr. RJ Barrett. So I do want to thank you all for watching. To be entered in the giveaway, let me know what you think of RJ Barrett. Let me know what player you think he will most be like when he hits his prime. I'm pretty high on him. I think he'll be a superstar. I think he'll be a multi-time all-star. I think he slept on just for the Knicks situation at this moment. But leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, so that way if you do win, you won't miss when the winner is announced. We'll be giving away RJ Barrett Crusade base, rookie card, all of obviously you know these are rookie cards, Prism draft picks, base, All-Americans base, and then we'll be giving away the Silver Prism draft picks of RJ Barrett. So I do want to thank you all for watching. We'll keep these videos coming for you. Stay safe, be blessed, keep on collecting.